Hello and welcome to today's governance news video. In today's video, I'll look at what's going on in the Kusama Open Gov. I plan to do the same type of videos for Polkadot when Open Governance will launch there, and more people will be seeking funding for various reasons. But for now, all of this is happening on Kusama, which means every vote is in the hands of you, the community member, if you hold KSM. Let the chaos begin. Kicking things off with the root track, which is a technical track that developers would normally push through a referendum. There's referendum 48 under this track, which was raised by Bittensor, who's the team working on an AI product. I had mentioned them on yesterday's news video, where I mentioned that they won the recent parachain auction on Polkadot and are currently bidding for the one on Kusama. However, it seems they launched this referendum without any details whatsoever and no decision deposit either. The referendum times out after a while if there's no decision deposit placed, but it's currently not passing with over 70,000 KSM against it and over 25.6k in favor. Shockingly though, the amount required for decision deposit on the root track is 3,333 KSM, which is worth over $86,000, but you do get it back at the end of the referendum, even if it fails or passes, and anyone can place that deposit on the proposer's behalf. Moving on to the whitelist caller, all of these are technical updates which most of the community members may not be interested in. However, it's worth noting that validators are the most active voters in the Kusama ecosystem. Each of these technical updates raised by Joe and Kian Enigma are passing and got between 100k and 350k KSM and night votes, which is a lot. I've also voted I in 2 of them, I think, just to contribute towards that support. Note how one single troll voted nay with 5 KSM. I wonder why they do that. Looking at the Treasurer's track, Tom from Stake Plus has launched Bounty Referendum 51 in order to activate funding for an old referendum which passed, but for which likely had the wrong extrinsic call and failed with the error bad origin had been added. This is currently passing with over 184,000 KSM, and I also voted I for it. Further down, there's the General Admin track, and Subscan's Referendum 52 without any details had been launched. I assume the team may want to add support for another parachain on their website, but we lack details for now. Now, I reached out to Megan from Darwinia to try and get more details from them, as she knows the Subscan team. If they don't plan to add more details, the King Guardian of the Treasury, Tom from Stake Plus, will not be changing his vote to an I. And this referendum will likely fail, as it's got over 82,000 KSM in nay votes and just over 2.5 in I votes. I personally abstained from voting for this one for now. Now, looking at the small spender and medium spender tracks next, referendum 45 under the small spender track by Evrloot, which is a blockchain game using NFTs based on Remarks technology, had been very controversial and has generated the most engagement I've ever seen in any referendums, with some very interesting comments from the community. You could literally write a whole book about it. That's the level of detail you'll find in some of these comments. In short, the team are looking at getting funding worth about $8,000 in KSM to cover the transaction fees on Kusama, which have gone up 10x for NFT minting, and they want to keep the game running without having the community spend that extra transaction cost and rather use the treasury fund to cover it. They're also planning a migration to Moonbeam in a few months, and we're hoping to get this funding on 2 separate occasions, but because of the amount of heat that this referendum has generated them, the team has decided to focus their efforts on development and towards the Moonbeam migration rather than fight with the Kusama Treasury Guardian. They're currently getting absolutely destroyed with nay votes, over 166,000 in nay votes with over 17,000 in I votes, and it's due to end in 1 day and 21 hours and is currently losing. There was even a joke tweeted by Paradox, one of the validators behind Paranodes on Kusama, saying we should change the expect chaos code for Kusama to expect drama. I personally voted I in this one because I know the team and they're not asking for funding to put in their own pockets, but to simply support the growing community. Looking at referendum 46 for the medium spender proposal, this one's currently still active for another 4 days, and it's to get funding for 82 educational videos, community support in Romanian by answering questions and pointing people in the right direction when it comes to stuff like staking, governance participation, teleporting between parachains, and so on. 2 Twitter spaces a month. Ultimately, this is funding for a mix of not only educational content in their native language for Romanians and Moldovians, but also community support and expanding the network to help bring more people to the ecosystem. I obviously voted I with all I had in this one, and I'm hoping that the community can also do the same to support me. You may be thinking, why am I worried if it's currently passing with over 16,000 KSM in I votes? The issue is that there's usually a large KSM holder that makes their appearance in the last 2 days or even in the last day of the referendum and can simply vote nay to KO me. The stress is insane in these referendums when you're waiting and hoping to get that funding. You can likely age a few years in just a few days. Next up, referendum 54, launched by ProofOfChaos, is also for a medium spender and it's currently passing with almost 4k KSM in favor and 620 KSM against it. It just launched today and there's still plenty of time, but so far it's looking good and it's likely going to get a lot more support. The idea is that they launched a governance dashboard which currently includes Gov 1.0 data and will include OpenGov data. ProofOfChaos had previously created the initiative to incentivize governance participation through NFTs. You got a shelf NFT for your first governance vote and a product on it, and you would then keep on getting new products with each new vote, which was pretty cool. Some of those NFTs even had a market on Singular and people were selling them. They're now looking for 9,200 euros, which is almost $9,900 to continue funding the dashboard. I personally voted aye for this one too. And finally, referendum 47 from the big spender track created by the Virto team with 6,775 KSM in aye votes and 5,070 KSM in nay votes. Even if it seems it's currently passing, it's actually not. If it was to end this way in 6 days and 8 hours, the reason being is because you need over 70% as a big spender to pass a vote, at least right now that there are still 6 days left. This number seems to be decreasing linearly though, so it may be that by the time this vote is due to expire, it may even drop closer to 55%. But I'll report back on that closer to the date and I'll let you know then. Now the Virto team is made up of a number of people, including a lead member, Daniel, who's been an active contributor to the Polkadot ecosystem, and he's a fellow. He's trying to get a lot of funding, to be fair. Over $500,000 in KSM, that's 20,000 KSM in order to fund this project for 9 months. The idea of Virto, as we can see on their website, is that they want to give cryptocurrencies utility in the real world by allowing people to securely exchange any kind of products or services via decentralized marketplaces that contribute to the economic development of local communities. They're planning to achieve this by using e-commerce application programming interfaces, or APIs for short, to allow this connectivity to the Web3 world. You can find a ton of details on their proposal and also on their website if you check the white paper. But one of the most important people in the Kusama ecosystems in terms of voting power, Tom, has nicely informed the team that he's abstaining from voting until Daniel provides better documentation of the actual proposal of funding the team to the public. Tom also says that this kind of funding request, which is to fund the full project team, also requires more debate, which is a fair point. Also remember that Tom, who runs the validator of Stake Plus, is a very active member in the community, and with his massive stake he can ultimately decide how things can go. People should definitely be held accountable when it comes to explaining in detail why they need so much funding, especially those on the big spender tracks.
With our huge muscles, we shall protect you.
There is a high level of detail expected and effort put into those referendum proposals. I saw they posted a list of the team members though and how much each one will likely be getting, but the salaries are not specifically mentioned. However, I voted aye after seeing the team's distribution and what each person will be doing, but to be fair, I did so more because Daniel is a fellow and has been a long-term contributor to the ecosystem, and the probability that he'll run away with the $500,000 is lower than if he was a random dev asking for this amount at once. That's been it from today's quite extensive governance video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching and for supporting this channel. Don't forget to please hit the like to also help the algorithm, and drop a comment below telling me what you think of this video and any of the referendums. Take care and see you in the next video. Bye bye.